Once again. So it has been a while that we wrote codes. Like I explained to us the other time, that break is necessary for you to put yourself in order, because I discovered that some of us, we are not really trying to work with projects. And I want to believe that these 2 weeks that you have spent on handling or creating projects must have, one way or the other, helps you to understand some of the tags and some CSS properties we have discussed, right? Now, I understand that we are in the AI era. I hope you did not just copy and pasted all your code, because I've caught some of us, even in the class, trying to copy and paste. Now, there's nothing wrong when you are learning technology these days. There's no way you can actually do without the application of artificial intelligence. In fact, it's part of the skill sets you are expected to learn alongside with um, the core program. It's part of what you need to learn, how you can leverage on AI for troubleshooting your code in order to save your time. But what is important is you understanding the code given by what? The AI. It's very important. Do not just copy and paste. Take some time to understand the functions. Okay, it's very important. Now, what we have covered so far, just to update us, and for those that are distracting me, keep distracting. The Lord will bless you. Now, for just to update us on what we have covered so far in this journey of web development. We started with how to master the building blocks, which are the tags, right? And then we were also mastering the basic and some few advanced CSS properties alongside. Then after some time, we started implementing those tags and the CSS property in developing real websites. So I don't know if I can still remember the website folder I'm using for this class, just for us to be able to see what we have achieved so far. What is the name again? Okay. And this, right? And then I remember that we changed our index file to res, I think res nav, right? This is the one we are working with. Okay, so let me just view it on my front end just to see the progress we have made so far. So if I can remember, we have completed an entire website. That is, we have developed the index page, right? The landing page with all the 3 sections developed. What do I mean? The navigation bar is ready with the navigation links. Then on the body section, we have also created content. Then, of course, the footer section, we have also created our footer. Then I know that we have developed or we created some content in the shopping page where we are showcasing different services we offer based on this particular site niche. Now, what I want to teach us in this section is another navigation bar development. Another navigation bar development. Now, remember we did said that navigation bar are compulsory elements or section in every website. So every website must have a navbar. Are we together? Because I said for your website to be user friendly, you need to provide key links that helps them to move around your website. And that particular section that harbors them is what we are referring to as what? The navigation bar. Now, there are different types of navbar, and I have taught us one. So I am about teaching us another type. The reason is that there is something I explained the other time that professionally, your navigation bar is not supposed to be congested with what? Too many what? Navigation links. So what will now be a solution where you have more than 5 or even up to like 10 what? Navigation links, and you are mandated by the clients to acknowledge all of them. In that case, you introduce another type of what? Navbar, and which is what will lead us to what I want to teach us. So we can now write how to design or develop a navigation bar with a drop-down menu. How to develop a navigation bar with a drop-down menu. Are we together? How to do what? Develop a navigation bar with a drop-down menu. So it's going to be a different project entirely. Now look up, it then means that after this class, you will be given what? Another project. And in that project, you are going to adopt this navbar, not that one. You are going to start another project entirely whereby you will use the navbar we are about to learn, just like I'm going to do now, because this is just like an average client's website. This is a very simple website where much is not needed in terms of professionalism. Now, to start with, I'm going to create a different folder. Like I said, it's a different project. And this time around, so that I will not keep looking for it, I would like to create my folder in documents. So please, somebody should remember in case I am looking for it next time. So let me just name this drop underscore nav underscore bar. That is the name of the folder for this particular project. Then, of course, I have to call this folder in my development environment so that I can access its resources while I am what? Still developing the website. So I'll go to File if you have forgotten. Then go to Open Folder. Then reference the base where you created the document, and then look for that name. What's the name again? This. So just click on that folder. We are not opening the folder, it's just to tap it and ensure that that is the name you are seeing here, and then click on select what folder. That automatically incorporates the entire folder right in your development IDE environment. Now, when I taught us the other time, we created the CSS folder before we called the folder in, right? So I just want us to know that you can just create just that one folder, that parent folder. Then while you are here, you can use what? This tab to create what? Other folder. So the next folder I want to create is what? A CSS folder. And at this point, I believe you know the reason why we are creating that folder. It means that you have an intention of implementing what? External CSS, right? If not, there wouldn't have been need for creating this folder. So while you are still inside the parent folder, you create another folder. I'll call this what? IMG what? Folder. While you are still inside this, you create another folder. I can call it, let's say what? GS. But for now, let me go with this. I am not going to work with image for now because it's just a navbar. So I could just use letters to formulate my logo, just like we learned from the other projects. Now, once I've done this, the next thing is to create my HTML file in order for me to define the structure of the navbar. So, of course, like I have advised us before now, you are not supposed to create your HTML file inside any subfolder. In other words, those files must reside in what? The parent what? Folder. So I'll make sure that none of this is facing down, and then click on what? The file add tab, and then the first file should always be what? Index.html. Then I'll click outside, then activate my HTML default file. I discover some of us are still having these issues. Now, let me just give my document title, and the title is what? Drop down nav bar design, as against the name of the company you are supposed to put there, since this is just for learning. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is to acknowledge a container that is going to hold the entire what? Navigation links. And that container is nav. I'm using a nav tag. In fact, let me use comment here. Let me use comment. Do I need to zoom it a little? Hope we are okay with it like this. Okay, so I'll start by creating, create a container, or create the first container. Let me use that one. Create a first container. And we are using one of the HTML container elements, which is what? Nav, which is practically created for this purpose. And then I don't want to give it class, but if I want, I can actually what? Class it. If I know that within this same file, there will be some places where I'm going to use this tag again, then I have to class it. But in this case, I don't think I am going to use it. So I will just continue with the next sectional container. Sectional container. So I will use div to achieve that. So I will just type dot. I will just type dot. Specify the name of the class. and then press what? Enter. So that will automatically create a div and assign what? A class name navbar. So the next thing is the next container is this particular div. What I don't want to expand it because it's a sectional element that is within the first container. I just want to separate a section. So I will just say, okay, this should be welcome to my class or my training. Right? So while you are still inside the navbar, the very first container, now this particular navigation bar we are creating should be mobile what? Responsive. So based on that is the reason why you see certain structuring, because there is a plan. So we are trying to also consider if this website is open on a mobile device, how will it what? Behave. And remember, there was an advice I gave to us when we started this program that always make sure that you have good structure in your HTML because that will help your CSS communication. So that is the reason why I'm going with this structure. Then I want to create, let me use comment for the sake of those that could be documenting. Now, what I'm about to bring now is for this purpose, menu button, because this is going to be responsive just with two languages, HTML and what? CSS. So JavaScript is not involved. Okay, so if JavaScript is involved, then the code volume might reduce because most of the actions will be done in what? JavaScript. So I am creating a checkbox. It's part of the element or form that we work with when we are designing what? Form. But as we continue, you will understand what I want to do with it. So it's a checkbox what? Hack. Checkbox hack. I'm going to tell you what exactly I am going to achieve with it. So I'm borrowing an input element from form design. So I will say, okay, so what I am using this to achieve is that the drop down, we have a kind of what? Hamburger. Okay. And that will trigger the action. So there will be an action that will call out what? The sublinks vertically under one of the main what? Link. So for example, now I can have about as the main link. That is when they hover on that about, or when they click on it, that is when the user can see what? The drop down what? Links. So the structure is going to be different from the other navigation bar. This is exactly the message I want to pass. So if I stop at the other navigation bar, you will have this kind of issues when you are given a project that require this kind of structure. So I am borrowing input. Nobody in this class should ask me what input tag is. If you were with me when I was explaining what form design, right? So, but for the sake of some persons that are still behind, those persons that are behind that did not start with us when we started, and I promised to give them a makeup class. I think I have to resume that makeup class, or I could just ask you to join one of my online class from your house just to get that aspect what sorted. So if you are part of those persons that I'm owing the makeup class, please after the class see me so that I can get your number so I can drop the link if I'm going that option. Now, what I want to do with this, like I mentioned, so is a tag, and this tag we need to define its type. The type is what determines the kind of values you want to collect, because all the way from form class, form design, I told us that the tag input is to create a box, right? To collect what users what data. Now, if we are bringing it here, we need to also specify within the navbar, what type of data do you actually want to collect with it? That is what will determine the attribute. So the attribute cannot be text. I'm not using it to collect what? Textual what? Data. I'm just using it to trigger an action. And the action is what? Is what? Option. So I will say what? Checkbox as the type. And then I will assign an ID. And the ID will be menu hyphen toggle, just for you to know what it's going to do. Remember, this is what is going to play the role of what? The hamburger. The hamburger is that maybe like those 3 lines you see, like 3 bars. But in this case, what we want is that there are some inbuilt HTML properties that will create what? That symbol for us. The symbol is going to be like an arrow pointing down that will be attached to the what? To the parent what? Link that the users must hover on or click on before they can see what? The drop down what? Item. So we are not going to go to Fort Awesome to get that icon. I'm going to show you the code, and then you can research more on those codes. They are in your HTML, but you might not know. Now, so that is the what. Then I also want to assign class. There's a reason why I am putting this, because I'll be writing different CSS property for different things relating to the same element. So in some instances, I'll be using ID to select so that there will not be conflicts. Some other instances I could use what? Class. That is why it's as if I am assigning what? Multiple identifiers to one what? Element. So there is a plan. And as you go with me, you understand it. So what do I want to class it? I will class this menu what? BTN. Menu what? BTN. Which means that what? Menu what? Button. Now you already know what this input tag is going to serve. The purpose is going to serve. Now, after this, then I have to come to the content section. All right? I have to come to the content section. So let me zoom out a little so that I can see everything. Now, here is where I want to activate the icon of that arrow generation. Now, the icon, I'm going to use a HTML inbuilt property. So this is the collection of symbol. That is ampersand, then hash, then 9776. And then you, okay, so where did I stop with the input tag? I think the input tag, sorry, this is not to be given to the input tag. This class is for the next tag, sorry. So the input tag stopped at menu what? Toggle. Then I'll come down and write what? Label. I believe you also understand this tag, right? Label. So label for menu toggle also. Menu toggle. Label for menu toggle. Now, this is where I'm bringing that class that I just deleted now. And the class is going to be what? Menu what? Menu hyphen what? BTN. Now, it is between the content section of the label. When I say content, you understand what I mean? Because you were taught that all the words, all the keywords surrounded by the angle bracket will never be made visible to what? To the audience, right? Or to the visitors of your website. So it means that if I end it here, there will not be anything for them to see, to click or to hover on to see the sub-content. So that is why this is where you are adding that arrow icon, and we are generating it with HTML property, inbuilt property, starting with what? Ampersand, percent, and then hash. I believe you know how to get this symbol from your keyboard. So set 9776, and then you add semicolon like this so that we change to blue. Now, if I go to the front end and check what we have done now, so that you see the icon you just created. Can you see the hamburger? Can you see how it came? I did not call any image. I did not call any image. So I rely on the inbuilt HTML. You can go and research HTML property for generating icons. If I were to be you as a smart student, you write this thing down. HTML property for generating what? Icon. You don't need to go and start consulting, what is it called? Font Awesome, if you understand them. There are so many of them. Okay. Now, let's go back. Now, which means that, look up, if I manipulate this number, if I remove 6, I put 7 to generate another icon. Yes, so at your own convenience time, you can play with it. So if I come here now, let me delete this 6 and put what? 8. And then go back to the front end. Did you see that the middle one have dots? Are you seeing it? So on your own, just take time and what? Be manipulating. But make sure that you maintain the format. What's the format? This ampersand, this must be there. Okay? Okay, so I think I love that one. Let me stick to that one and proceed. I hope we are following. I'm not too fast today, Abi. I'm trying to follow my guy's instructions. The other time you wanted to eat me up, but I'm too fast. And today I just caution myself, Holy Spirit, please, I don't want to rush. So in case I want to rush, please, somebody says, you have started rushing. No. If not, sometime, the Holy Spirit can carry somebody and start to do things outside his plan. Okay, now, the next thing I want to show us, what are we still learning now? We are still trying to develop the structure of what? The navigation bar with a drop-down what? Menu. Now, the next thing is for us to create the links. The links, for us to create the link. But for us to create the link, we are going to start by acknowledging the parent link. Okay? Now, when I say acknowledging the parent link, I'm talking about bringing a container called what? UL, right? And then inside the UL, we will now create the parent link. The under one of the parent link, we will now say we will need what? Drop down. You can also say, okay, under two parents, maybe under service, you have 5 different types of services. Okay? Let's say this particular company you are building this website for have their services divided into different, like 5 types. Are you going to publish all the services picture in one page? No, it's not professional. If somebody visits the website and he wants to probably consult them for a specific service, there should be a link that takes them towards a page where you talk about only that type of what? Service, instead of mixing them up. What are you trying to do? You are trying to make your website user what? Friendly. That will help Google SEO, search engine what? Optimization, to rank your website. I have said it before that one of the secrets of driving traffic is not by doing much. It's by reading the mind of Google search engine. What are the factors Google uses in ranking people's websites? What are those things that entices Google? What are those things that Google like, that once you see them in a website, it prioritizes that website whenever anybody is searching? So when you understand the Google search engine mindset, then whatever you are doing, the color you are using, what are those colors that are more friendly to Google search engine? You go and research. What is the font? Even handwriting. There are some fonts you use that are what? Google enemy. You may not know that. Key into those little things. When somebody is searching for a product that is advertised on this website, Google will automatically say, go for this product, this website. This is where the product is what? Published. And then you get more converts from there. So that is just to explain that. Now, I want to class my link container. Remember that the whole of this tag that we just introduced is serving as what? Main what? Links what? Container, right? Are you with me? That is what the UL is going to do. Is a container that is going to hold all the words, the navigation what? Links. So I want to class it. Class. I am classing it nav what? There was also an advice I gave to us some time ago. What is the principle of naming your class? You name your class according to the intended what? Purpose. So that when you are looking at your code, when you see a class, you already know what that element was created for. So if I'm going through this code, once I see class navigation what? Link. Oh, this is where all the navigation links are what? Declared. So now, the next thing is for me to declare those links. And declaring those links, it means that I am going to mention them vertically first, and then later use CSS to do what? To display them what? Horizontally, right? And then you will have been taught that whenever you want to list items vertically in a website pages, there are dedicated what? Or there is a dedicated what? Tag, which is called what? Li, right? List. So I will say what? Lists. That is Li. Now, I am not just mentioning this item. This item that I'm about to mention, they are expected to drive or take the user from the current interface of my website to another what? Interface. So in other words, they should be what? Clickable what? List item, right? So for that reason, I have to wrap them in what? Anchor what? Tag. Then the anchor tag always requires you specifying the destination link or URL. Where will the user be taken to when they click or hit this particular what? Link? You specify the page. So we are here to create the page. But I have an idea of the page. In fact, that is the page we are creating at the first one, which is what? Index.what? HTML. In this particular case now, this particular link, we are currently creating its page. So I can reference it to itself. And then what will they see? They will see what? Home, right? They will see home. Am I communicating? Now, this one will not have a drop down. Okay? So I will leave it like this. This one will not have what? A drop down. I will come down and do the same thing. Li, then anchor tag. Then this one is for services. This is where I'm going. Of course, this one will not have a drop down. This is not service. This will be what? About, right? Let's go with about us. So all these pages will be created later. So the description will be about. Now, who can tell me the best description between about or about us? Which one do you think will be more Google friendly, Google SEO friendly? About and what? About us. About us. Can you prove it?
You are very correct, but make that discussion more professional. Let me. Okay.
The bank is talking about the website. Why the bank is talking about the activities? Then the website.
About is talking about what? You see, sometimes it's better. Sometimes you stick to the first option. So the first option was 95. This one you are going to 60. So now okay, you want to try, sir? Specific. That's why I said it was correct also. It's not descriptive enough. Now, you know how search engine work, right? If you go to Google now and search for what? Prosper. Or let's say what? Computer. Google will give you definition or say something about computer, but it's not going to be precise like somebody who is searching with what? Define what? Computer. Or Google, what is computer? The second person will reach out to the solution faster and better than what? So Google, like what will easily help those that are searching. Okay? So that is why some developers do not understand when they just use what? About. Their website will not be what? That Google what? SEO what? Friendly enough. That does not mean that Google, if you adopt other measures that it uses, you can still qualify. But this one is one of the criteria. Okay? Now, about us. Even some, if the name of the company is brief, they will say what? About MTN. They will not just say what? Us, because us is not also what? That, 100% what? Descriptive. But if the name is long, then I cannot use it. Now, this one will not have a drop down, but in some company website, this about us will have a drop down where you have about what? The stakeholders, right? About the admin, about, so that in that case, you can bring in what? The drop down. But in this case, I am not bringing in what? A drop down. So it's your choice. So the next one is LI, also nesting what? Anchor tag. And then this is going to be what? Contact, right? This is going to be contact page. Or let me bring in service here so that we can quickly get to where we are going to. Service.html. And then the description will be what? Service. Now, in this service, we are bringing in DropDown. So this is where the DropDown is coming. So which means that we are going to expand what? This LI. Are you getting the logic now? The structure. Please take note of the structure. Why am I expanding this LI? Because this LI is a container in this case now that is expected to hold 2 or more what? Links. Now, the first one is the main service. So if somebody click on the service, pay attention. If somebody click on the service itself, it will take them to a general page. But if somebody now click on the item under it, that will take them to what? A different what? Page. That is the idea. If we want the service itself to act as a hamburger without, displaying anything, then you will not refer what? You will just put what? Hash inside it. This is what you are going to do. you will just add what? Hash here. So which means that you are indirectly saying that what? This particular one shouldn't take them what? Elsewhere. Shouldn't take them anywhere. Are you following? This shouldn't take them anywhere. That is what we are saying. So what will be there is the name service, but when they hover or click on it, that is when they will see the drop down. So what I'm going to do here is I will now come here. Sorry, we are still inside the, which one did I expand now? I think I expanded the LI, right? Now this one is the first one that they will see to click before they will see the drop down item. That is the reason why I have that anchor tag like this. Now I will go down. So the next one is to create another UL. Can you see that? This UL is inside what? That LI. Are you following? That is what you are about creating what? Sub item. But this one is not inside the what? The container, because that is the one that will be visible. It is when they touch this one that what? It will bring down what? Other things inside what? The LI. So you can even use your Fort Awesome to go and copy what? Drop down icon. So what? You can go to your Fort Awesome and search for where you search for Facebook icon. Just for what? Drop down what? Icon. So you now see different, like this arrow. Let me show you. You will see what the icon will be. We look like this. How many of us have seen it? It will be attached to what? To this service. So if you paste it before the service, it will not appear before the what? The service. That is the Font Awesome what? Icon you are lifting from there. If you paste it here, this is where you have to paste it to here. Either here or what? Here. I hope that is clear. All right. Now, inside this, I am classing this particular one so that I will know what exactly I am creating it for. This is for what? Drop what? Down what? Let's say drop down. Now, inside it, you will now start creating the item that will be dropped. LI, another LI, anchor tag, and then here is for maybe, let's say, web development. So this one is for what? Web. So you're going to create all these pages. Hope you know that. You are going to create what? The pages this stuff will take the users to, .html. And then I'll come in here and write the description that what? This one is for what? For web development. This one is for web development. Okay? Then I will simply copy this, Control C, while you are still inside the what? The sub UL, right? The one you created inside what? This LI. You paste it. So I just want to create like 3 different drop down. Then here, this one is for maybe data analytics, data.html, and the description is data analytics. Then here, the same thing. This one is for cyber security. I'll just say what? Cyber.html. And the description should be what? Should be full. Cyber security. Okay, so if I want more, I will just what? In fact, let me add more so that the drop down will be long. Then here, this one is CP, that is graphic design. So let's say graphics design. So let's say these are the number of what drop down that I have here. So after this, then if I have contacts, I have gallery, I have other link that are not meant to be inside the sub link. So I will identify where the LI that are expanded closes, right? Which is what? Here. Let's take note of that. This is where we open the LI, right? This is where we open the LI that is holding the what? The trigger what? Menu or link that we drop what? This item. So where is the closing part of this LI? We have to locate it. I think this is it, right? This is the first what? So I'll come outside here and continue what? My LI for contact. Are you getting it now? That is after the link that have the drop down, you still have other ones to mention. So anchor tag, then here I'm bringing contacts dot HTML, and then I'll do the same, specify the description, contacts. Okay, then there is another one which is gallery, where I am going to showcase all the work done, because another factor Google uses in recommending people to your website is when you have a proof that you have done it, because Google does not want to mislead people to be scammed. So websites where individual or company have uploaded some of the work, some of the achievement, Google will find it easier to take for there as a guarantee. Are you following? So it's very important you tell them to advertise what they have done. So I'm going to put all that in the gallery page. So gallery dot what? Dot HTML. And then specify the description. Or you can even change the word work done as a more description, depending. If it's a portfolio what? Website. Okay? So you say what? Achievements. These are the keywords you use. Achievement, work done, or galleries, depending on the right word you want to use. Now let's go to the front end and see what we have done. You can see the structure, you can see the code structure. Everything is well structured already from HTML. So your CSS will just be flowing. So I am going for commercial break, 10 to 15 minutes commercial break. No, now we have not styled it. This is the structure in HTML first. In CSS, it's not. This will not be visible once they get here until they tap what? Service before they will see this. So this is just the structural design in HTML. So that's the reason why I'm going for the commercial break. The commercial break, I'm going to stay with the code. Then you code it. Then when I come back, I will just continue with what? The CSS. It's a logical way of slowing myself down. Don't worry. To be training for 19 years, you know that the experience is here. I'm trying to caution myself. If I go to CSS now, I'll be too fast. Let me take some, go breathe in and breathe out. So now we have at least we have structured the navbar. Now we want to enhance the appearance, of course, which is necessary. That is why we are learning what? CSS, right? Because if you look at this whole content now, you cannot tell me that the contents are presentable and readable. Are they presentable? No. Somebody said here before. This content, if I pay you 1 million now to build a website, or if you pay me 1 million, let me not use that word. You pay me 1 million and I upload this kind of content. Will you ask for your money back or
you will tell me thank you. You even arrest me, so you can see you all say it was. Okay, so let's make this presentable. So now we are bringing in CSS. Please make sure you are writing the CSS alongside with me, because immediately after this class, I'm entering cybersecurity class. There will not be time for me to allow you to copy from the laptop. Now, remember that we created a dedicated folder just for holding all our CSS. And it means that we want to work with what? External CSS. External CSS is a way of styling your HTML content by separating the CSS code from what? The HTML code. So I'll go in here and then add a file. I can just name it style dot what? CSS. Why I name it style without being specific index dot? Because I'm assuming that this is going to be the CSS file that I will use to style all the pages. So now this is another method you can use. So the last time I was teaching us, advised us that you can assign to each of those HTML file different words, CSS words, file, right? Are you with me, Osas? Now, I am telling you another way you can do it. Another way you can do that, you can just have one single CSS file. And then make sure that under home, you use unique class names that will not be repeated under what? About us page. The same thing about us page, have different words, unique word, class name that will not be the same with what? Contact page, so that there will not be conflicts. Did you get that logic? Good. So I can say that all classes that I'm going to use for the CSS section that will be styling this will be different from the ones in the contact page. So now, once you have created your CSS file, because it is an external CSS, there have to be visibility. The two files must be connected. They must see each other so that when you are selecting the HTML element in the CSS file, the properties will deliver the message to the right word elements. So how do we do that? We go to the HTML file and then enter the head section and then type link. Then reference the URL, the address, where is the CSS file, slash here, and that automatically call out your directory what? Elements. So from here, you know the one you are going to, which is what? CSS, and then you click. So now, another thing we are going to do, or which I have already advised us, always take note of your HTML selectors. Okay, now that you want to style. What are the class I use here? This one, I did not class it, right? So if I want to talk to it in my CSS, I will select it by its tag name, okay? Which is what? Nav. Without putting dots, because it's not a class element. But if I want to talk to this div, I'm going to use what? Dot what? Nav bar, because it's a class element. If I want to talk to this, what will I use? I will use what? Hash, because it's an ID what? Element. Okay? Did you get that information now? Eh? Good. So now I want to start. I have an order that I'm following here. So I will create a comment, use comment to explain the code to yourself or to the third party. So what exactly do you want to talk to? I want to what? Reset the global selector. How do I reset the global selector? Reset what? Global selector. What is the global selector? The global selector is what? Asterisk. I've explained that before, right? And what did I say? Which element in your file or your document is going to address? Can anybody help us? The body, because you are not specific. You are not saying nav.
but it knows who you are talking to or the element you are talking to. So I said that by default, the browser will always calculate your margin. The browser will always calculate your padding. So if I go back to the front end now, who told the browser to leave this space? How come this welcome is not touching this edge? Who told the browser to leave this space? How come this welcome or W and this other information has a margin? The browser by default has been programmed to display them. So you are saying as a developer that what I want you not to what to observe what any margin. So I will return to what 0. So if I go back now and check, what did you notice? Is there any movement? Yes. Look at the W now. It's not touching the screen. No margin again. Because you have your own plan. Browser, do not implement your own plan. Then padding 0. So if I go back and check whether there's any impact, is there any impact? Everything has been returned. When I want the sub item to move, I will speak to it. I am not asking you to what? To create what? The indentation for me. Now, since the body is a general container, that has elements stored in or captured inside it, I will not want any one of them to grow beyond the parent. I will not want any of those property or elements inside the body tag to experience what? Overflow. I want all of them to be boxed within it. And that is why I am bringing what? Box what? Sizing. I will say what? Border what? Box. A way of restricting them from flowing outside the what? The container. That is where we communicate this particular CSS property. Now, I want to also talk to the body. So here we are styling the body. Styling the body. Now, what we want to do here, remember that in your HTML document file, there can only be what? One body. I hope you are with me. That is the reason why we don't normally what? Class what? Body. Because in one file, you cannot have more than what? One body. So for that reason, I will just say what? Body. What do I want to assign to body? This body is a parent element. A parent what? Element. So I am directly saying, let me write everything before I explain them. Area, comma, then this. So what we are saying is that what? Any element that is inside the body, any element that is inside the body, which could be what? The nav, the div, the label. If peradventure you do not style them with certain what? Fonts, handwriting, they should use their parent what? Style. That is what you have done now. That is what you have automatically stopped the Google or the browser from calculating the handwriting. Are you with me? Did you understand what I just explained now? So what I'm saying is that what? If I did not say encounter font style area, then use what? This one in the what? The parent selector. That is what we are saying. So the next one is the nav, which is what? The main container, right? The main container. Remember, there was a container that we opened. The main container. Styling. Like I said, make sure that you are writing your CSS as you are going and you are observing. Okay? Now, the number, let's quickly go to the HTML structure so that we can recognize it. Which of the elements are you talking to now? Look at this here, this very one. The general what? Container that is holding the entire what? Navigation bar. So is this a class element? No. So I will just say what? Nav, right? Because it's not a class element, neither was an ID element. So what do I want? Number one, background. And the background, I'm still using hexadecimal, which is one of the methods I have taught us before now of calling what? Color. Then box, shadow. I want some shadow to be around the whole of that container in order to make it to stand out from other words, content within the page. So box shadow, I will just specify some axis, 2ps, 5ps, then calculating the color, RGB, GBA, and then 0, something like brown, but not fully black. That's what we are targeting. So if I go to the front end, you can see that shadow. I don't know if you are seeing it. Where I'm navigating, there is a kind of shadow there. I'm seeing it on my laptop because of the background. So if I give the entire body background now, you feel it. If I come here now, where will I put the body? Here, right? So let's say background color. Okay, don't worry, when you are coding, you will see it. I don't want to waste our time. So now I want to talk to the other element that we class what? Nav bar, which is the div that is containing what? That was, which is what? Welcome to my training. That is the next item and is a class element. So styling the dot nav bar. Styling the dot what? Nav bar. Okay. So now dot nav bar. The first thing I want to do is to define. The first thing I want to do is to define the maximum width. Maximum width. So maximum width is a concept that I've explained before, right? You are setting what? You are capturing a particular device in this case. How it's going to display in a device. You are trying to constrain it that if you are on a particular device, you cannot display what? More than this. So here, for me to put 1200 PS, I'm capturing what? Laptop. This is not mobile. Mobile should be around 700, 600. Good. So this is a way of you implementing how it's going to display on what? Laptop. So maximum width. Then let me check if anything has changed. Okay, we're still on 100% view. So the next one is I want to create some margin. Margin on one side, 0 and what? 20 PS. So let's check what happened. The next one, I want to create some padding. Remember that you are talking to the container itself. That is why we are not noticing what? Some differences. Once we start talking to the item inside it, you will start noticing some what? Changes. So padding, I'm going with top 0 and then bottom 2 PS. Sorry, left and right. Okay, you can see that what? Padding, okay, sorry. This is the element we are talking to, which is now what? Reacting. So the next one is display. How do I want it to display? Display flex. Display flex. Display flex. Which are the, let's go to the HTML. I want to see if we are. come in, trying to check the structure. Okay. Display flex. Then justify content. All right, so where did I stop? Justify content. Justify content, space in between. Space in between. I think we have that here. So the next one is align. So I may come back to edit some of this. I just want to see how we go with this first. Then the height. Height, let's say height of 60 PS. So let me check. Okay. So the next element I want to talk to, the next element I want to talk to is, there's one with class nav link, right? There's one with class nav link. So I think these particular properties should be for, I know something is wrong. Here is the container that is holding my structure is wrong somewhere because of the property I'm using. Let me try and figure it out. I have div class navbar. Okay. And then I have a comment. Okay, I know something is missing because those parts that we are using, they are not supposed to be used for single word element. So now this particular look up, this particular test, I'm going to change it, cut it. I see have it, I can still come back to it. Then you cut this one. Then this one should envelope all this down to the closing of the nav. Where is it? Here, right? No. This is the close of the nav now. No, it's going to be inside. It's directly inside it. It's not the parent under what? Under nav. Nav is the first container. Now, there is a structure. There is a tag that I omitted here, which is the one I misquoted for that one. Another D for logo. Dot what? Logo. Logo. So this is where you have that word. Welcome to what? Welcome to my site. So I'm just putting this as my logo. Welcome to my site. So which means that now, if you go back to the front end, you can see that the navbar is now reacting properly now. Can you get it now? Good. Because once you start using some CSS property, you should know that they are not for individual elements. Property like justify content. When you are not talking to a container, you shouldn't use them. So that was what actually reminded me that something is wrong for me to be using justify content align item on a single element. Okay, so let's go there. And I think we have corrected our HTML structure. Now, every other thing is in place. So now, so the next element we want to talk to is the next element we want to talk to is the logo now. So let's start the logo. Logo. And the logo is represented with what? Dot what? Logo class. Then fonts, just to make the write-up look a little bit more visible. Font size. To make sure that you are coding alongside with me, so that when you get home, you sit down and copy your code. I think it's the best way. Just be coding as I'm. Okay. Let me see you in the next class, and you could not provide the outcome of the picture. That is where we'll go for another 1 week break. So font weight. Please, let's focus, please. Font weight. Font weight. Then color. Color, I'm still using the hexadecimal method 00733E6. So you can actually change your color, but let's work with the one I've calculated before this class. So the next one, let me check the output. Okay, so everything is going well. The next one is let's talk to the element with the class name. After this, to the class name, nav-link. Where is it? Do I have it here? Nav-link. I thought there's a place where, yeah, this one here. This one here. So let me just copy it, Control C. Dot paste. So display, because we have some item inside that need to be displayed what? Inline or side by side. So display, we say what? Flex. So let's go back there and see. Good. So you can see that the display have changed. Then we want to off those icons, right? Those we want to turn off this button or this small icon. We don't need it. And we all know how they came about now, right? Because we are using what? UN. So I'll simply say list style none. So if I go back to the front end, I'll see that what? That's supposed to have gone if we are talking to Okay, so let me just see if, let's just continue. I'll come back to it. So the next one is dots space A. We're talking to what? To the anchor tag inside. Test decoration. So here, let me see whether that will actually refresh. So since we are also writing, I want to see if it's also working. Let me know. It's working with you, right? What did I select? Nav link. Okay, because I'm correct now, I mean. Correct. So let me just let me run it again and see. That has not still changed. Are you sure we are correct? Now link. There's S now. Hmm? Here? Here. After flesh? Yeah. Yeah, right? The first none. Before the colon. But let me see. Oh, it might be. Let's see. But it has not still. So it should also work. Let me see. So it might be from the file, but let me just troubleshoot and see. What I will do is that I will just go back and let me rename this. Let me rename this to, let me just change it to, we have used nav, have we? No, there is no .nav, right? We only have nav, right? So let me just update it here and see. I want to check something. You sure it's not my browser? Let me return this one that we edited. Okay, so I should add what? Li. Okay, to it there. Okay. Yes. So let me go back to the same way. See, and I, perfect. So it's a wrong what? Selector. It's a wrong selector. So what is happening here is that what is responsible for those icons is the LI, not the. This is what we are talking to, the UL, right? And those icons, but if you look at it, it's supposed to work now. It's supposed to work, but it worked for you, right? Somebody said it worked for, when you use this, it not work. Which one works? Is it this one? Okay, let's go. Now, let's go. Let's continue. Let me see how far we can go. Then, the other one too, this one did not work, right? This decoration. So let me say, this one too has worked. No, test decoration. That was that underline. Okay, it worked. Okay. All right. Now, let's quickly talk to the same dots, nav, link, links, then li. That is what we have spoken to now, have you? See, something is wrong. So let me just add this position here, direct, because I was supposed to have that one separately and then have the one with li separately. So now position, let's say relative. Let me go and check if there's any difference that is going to determine how it's going to display on a different device, not on laptop. Then still on this, just the anchor tag. Let's add color. Color, I'm using the same hexadecimal method. Padding 10 ps. Display block. Let me see what this. Okay. No worry, let's just do everything with debug. Let me just see how it goes first. It's always time for debugging after your general coding if you are not getting what you expected. Links. Over. The over color should be. I'm coming. After this one, I was there before now, you are not looking. Over color, same color 0073. Okay, so this is what we are doing. You can see that when you hover, so the hover effect is communicating. Can I switch now? So the next one, let's talk to the drop down. Let's see whether all those items will rearrange themselves. Let's talk to the drop down now. Drop down. Make sure that you are still writing down your CSS. But as you are coding, you can copy later. For those that are coding, you can just continue coding. Later, you copy from your code. So drop down. Display. None. Display none. We are still going to debug it. I just want to write all the CSS. Don't worry, just make sure that you are writing the CSS. Position, absolute. It could just be that structure that we change, but don't worry, we'll just solve it. No issue. I will just copy from the code that I have used before to correct it. Let's just continue. Then top 100%. Now, at this point, all these items will have disappeared. All this, that place we put display none. All this will have gone, but I just want us to write the code first. We will debug. Home is up. Eh? Eh? Your own is not written for. No. Just continue writing the code. Your own might be correct. Just continue writing. I just want to finish the code. Let me just
compare to what. Let's look at the structure. You have number, right? Right? Let's look at it together. I want us to debug where that error, because it's to be from the structure of your code. Now, you have number, right? Look at your code. If you have written the code, you have number, right? Then after number, what element do you have? Div, right? With a class what? Number. Then what you have? Another div. So this div is closed here, holding the what? The logo text. The menu button checkbox. Be checking. Do you have this the way it is?
Yes.
Then you have this the way it is, right?
Yeah.
Then we now open the UL, right? Inside the UL, we have the nav what? Link. Then we have the first two lay that we not have drop down.
Yeah.
Is that the structure?
Yes.
You are supposed to be taking your code. Then we open what? Anchor tag, just to create the trigger, the link that will call out the sub item. And then we created the UL, the class name drop down. Is that what you have there? Is that what you also have there?
Yes, sir.
Now, what else again? Let's check this structure to this place. This is where we close it. Please, in a class, call him. Are you with me? Okay, your phone not going. Call your mom. Now look up. It's caller. Now, from here, we are the same, right? The structure is the same up to this point. Now, this is where we call other link that shouldn't be inside the what? The drop down. And then this is where we close the what? The UL. And then this is the div closing this very div. This one, right? Now, this is the nav. Good. Now, let's go to the CSS aspect now. The code you have written so far. Let's know where. Let's confirm from here. What about body? Hmm? Okay. You just be checking the selector. We have the selector there, right? We don't have dot navbar. We have it that time now. Wait, you see, that is where we have now. This is navbar now. From the code we wrote before now, this is navbar, right? Just want to confirm. Then we have dot logo, right? You have dot logo now.
Yes.
Have it? Then you have this was the one that was not responding, right? It's the same now, right? We did not add the li because that is where there will be problem. That li that you added to that's the reason why it was not entry. So this is, this is what we thought that is not working. So it was from the file. Now, here, so you have to go and edit it to this. Now, display flex, then list style none. That was what removed those dots. Then we have a separate dot nav hyphen links and the li position relative. Have you written to this place? Please start writing from where you stop. Just be coding it. If you have confirmed that your HTML code is correct, just be writing this one now. Let's see what it will come up with.
You said 0.3 s I second. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Can I scroll? I just want us to be writing it. Let me see what it will come up with first. The bullets are still there. Just write the entire code first. I just want to. Yeah, right. Just write the entire code so that you can have the code first, so that after debugging, you know, yeah. No, that's right. Don't worry. Just want to have the code first so that you know that just to debug that should many. So you stop here first, then once we are able to debug it and work out, then before we can talk of making it mobile responsive. Problema.